folks, my name is Doug Rooney. I'm the safety director for the Guild, and I want to introduce you to our new jointer. This jointer is made by Powermatic. It is an 8-inch parallelogram multi-head cutter, and I will show you what we mean. There are 54 of these 4-sided cutting blades in here that revolve around, and every 3 months they are rotated so that you have a fresh cutting surface. So there's 4 faces there. Okay. Now, not to scare you, not to make you afraid of this tool, but just think, this is spinning at over 1700 RPMs, and there's 54 of them, and you got a finger. Who's going to win the battle? That's why we want you to keep this guard closed at all times. Okay? That's simply a precaution for yourself. Now we'll get into the tool itself. What I'd like you to do when you come up to this tool, whether it's your first time up to it or your 1000th time up to it, I want you to look around the tool. I want you to look at the storyboard. I want you to get ready for what you're going to do. Okay, for example, when you come up, look at your general area. Are you going to be able to put your stuff through the in feed okay? Are you going to be able to put your stuff out in the out feed? Or are there things in your way? For example, the barrel, depending on the length of what you're going to be running, could be in your way. Somebody might have put a barrel or the box for the spare wood in your way here. Move it. Get it out of your way without putting it in someone else's path of work. Also make sure that if you're going to need them, that you have the right push sticks where you want them, and if you're going to need them, that you have the feather boards, because you don't want to get started on your job and then have to shut down to go get the parts. So I recommend you get them first. All right. So when you come up to your tool, when you come up to this machine, and you want to get started, the first thing you should do is unplug the jointer. Unplug it here, and then do your setups. And for the setups on this machine, they're all basically the same. You're going to unlock the locking mechanism, you're going to make your adjustment, and then you're going to relock the locking mechanism. And you know, it sounds confusing, but once you get into the habit, it's very simple. Unlock, adjust, and relock. Now, for example, when you come up, depending on the size board you want to do, whether it's planing on the face or on the edge, you can adjust where this fence is in relationship to the cutting heads. I was always taught the less face here you have, the safer you are. So for example, if I was just going to, I would undo this handle here and simply take this across. See how you have less blades available? Okay. Then wherever you get set, wherever you want it, then you simply lock this. And these locks are not meant for super strong people to try and bury them. They just mean to be snugged. You don't have to bury the thing to have it lock. Just make it snug. All right? So if you're going to do a 3/4 inch thick board, this would be plenty. If you're going to do a full 8-inch board on the face, then you'd have to push it all the ways back. And anywhere in between is fine to lock it. Okay? So that's how you would set up for your fence. Now, depending on what you are doing, you might have a board that you need to bevel or the edge. And this machine will allow you to work with the bevel facing you or away from you. If you're going to do a bevel that's facing you, you unlock this handle here, like so, and then you simply crank this handle, and you can see the face of the blade is going down, and you can go all the ways down to 45 degrees, and you can see that on your scale right back here. Okay. Now, like all scales, I'd recommend that you have your combination square with you and verify that the angle that's shown here and the angle here are what you want for your cut. Things can get out of calibration, but I'd suggest that you have your your combination square for that. So if you wanted to set it at 45, you'd be set at 45. You'd lock this handle, and then you've got your bevel set the way you want. If you, for some reason, didn't want a forward edge bevel and you wanted it backwards, and you came up to the machine, you would be at 0 or 90 degrees. Okay? And that would be your 90-degree cut there. You would take and flip this stop out of your way. Then you would unlock, and now your fence will go give you the other bevel that you need. Again, all the ways to 45. Okay. Then you can go to a 45 bevel there. Okay. All right. When you finish your operation, we'll want you to go back to 90 for the next person, and it's good practice to use your combination square 40 for set yourself at 90. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So that takes care of your fence position, and that takes care of the bevel operations for this. And there won't be too many times that you'll want to use this for bevel, but I want you to be able to know what this tool is capable of. All right. Now, at the beginning I told you that this machine is called a parallelogram jointer, and the reason for that is, according to the manufacturer, that the in-feed table, the cutter head, and the out-feed table have at the factory been set up so all three are parallel. They're true to themselves, and they're parallel with the other parts. When it comes from the factory, it has a handle here on the out-feed for adjusting that. Maintenance does not want you touching that. Maintenance has verified that the out table and the cutter are dead on, and they don't want you taking it. That's why they've taken the handle off of this, and there's nothing for you to try to work with here. Leave it alone. Okay? Now, you do have the capability, and you'd want to do this for your work, is you have to adjust the depth of your cut. So to do that, you come up to this side and you loosen this, again, unlock, adjust, and relock when you finish. And you take this handle here, and this handle here will take you from a depth of a cut of 1/8 all the ways down to 0. So if you set that at 0 and ran your board over, you'd be taking absolutely nothing off of it. So you have a gauge of from 0 to 1/8 to make your cuts. When you come up to adjust your depth of cuts, for your face cut, we want you to start at no more than 1/32 of an inch on your face cuts. When you're doing your cuts for your edge of board, we want you to start your cut at no more than 1/16. Now, after you've run your board through, you should take the board and you should look at the edge. If the cut is good and smooth, then you're cutting the proper way. If the cut coming across it is choppy or there's little bits out of it, then take your board and turn it 90 degrees so that you're going the other way through. Then you're cutting it the way the manufacturer planned for you to cut it to give yourself a good straight edge. And that will come with time. And that there's variations in the board, so it's almost impossible to show it to you. It's just you get in the habit of looking at your edge, and if it's a straight cut, you're good to go. If it's choppy, try turning your board 90 degrees. Okay, or turn it completely around. All right. Now, there is one piece of equipment on here that you are forbidden, and any other word in all the languages in the world to play with. It's this knob here. This tool can do a lot of things, but we don't allow you to use them. And this knob here is part of it. This is called a depth stop. And what it does, and I'll explain it to you, is if you take that and turn that So it's up and down, and you unlock this. You can now move this fence all the ways to a 1/2 inch. There's nothing in this shop that you're going to need to take a 1/2 inch off of. So what we want you to do is not play with this. This is to be left in this position, and this little pin in here is to be parallel with the floor. Okay? So when you come up to the unit to use it, it's a good idea just to eyeball that to make sure that that pin in there is parallel with the floor. That is your stop to prevent you from going over 1/8 of an inch. And within that 1/8, then you can go from 0 to 1/8, whatever you think the depth of your cut is. Okay? And then when you get the depth that you want, then you lock it. Okay? So after you've gone through those 3 adjustments, if you need them, setting your table where you want it, setting the bevel of this fence if you need it, most times you won't, and setting the depth of your cut, now you can go to turning your machine on. You'll see that we have 2 devices here. The first one is a factory built-in safety. If this is removed, this machine will not start. It's a magnetic start, and it's put in there for lockout purposes by the manufacturer. So when you come up to the machine, this will be in, and it'll be turned so that this is locked so you can't pull it out. You don't have to play with it. You're all set to go and everything is there. You would then plug your unit in, and this switch here will turn green. Now all that tells you is that there is power to this unit. Not that the unit is running, but the electricity is to this unit. If there's no power to it, that light will not be on, but you don't assume, because that bulb could burn out and could be burned out before maintenance got to it. So it's just there to give you a heads up that, hey, there is power to it. If you're set up to where you're ready to good to go on your phone, what you do is you would press this to start it, do your work, and then you would turn it on. So you press the green to turn it on, you press the red to shut it, and it's like a panic stop. You can hit it with your hand, the back of your hand, your elbow, and you can shut it off. Okay. So that is the basic functions of this, and it's very simple. You know, you'll have to come up and you'll have to look at it and you'll have to figure out what you're doing, but just remember, unlock, adjust, relock, and dry run everything until you're familiar with it. You know, make sure that the depth of the cut is what you want. Make sure that the fence is where you want it. Make sure if you're going for edge planing that you've got a 90° here. You don't want to go all through your work and find out that you got a 89.1. Those make your joints open. Okay? And then again, read your storyboards. They'll help you, and if you don't understand there, grab your mentor and your shop manager, your assistant manager, and they'll be glad to help you with it. And now I'll give you a demonstration of everything that we just talked about. I'm coming up to the unit. I want to do the inspection of the area to make sure that everything is good to go. Out feed side is fine, in feed side is fine, nothing on the floor to get in my way. If I need them, there's feather boards here and there's push sticks, so I'm good to go. Now, the board I want to do, I'm just going to do edge planing on it just to smooth it up. So I come up and I would take my fence and I would move it over because I don't need this much of the blade cutting and revolving where I'm going to be cutting. So I would unlock this, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. I would unlock this handle here, bring it over to wherever I need it, then I'd relock it. Where I'm doing square edge on here, I don't need to adjust the bevel of this forward or back, so I don't have to do that operation. Okay? To make sure that it is at 90, even though I'm looking at the gauge and it's saying it's 90, I would still want to check, and that's pretty good, both on the out feed side and on the in feed side. So you're looking good. Okay? Then you would make sure that this is locked so that the vibration won't allow this to move. All right? Even if you're not using it, it's a good idea to check this to make sure it's locked. And the other thing is you do not have to put a lot of pressure to lock this, just snug. Then you set your square out of the way, and you would unlock this. You would take your thing and make sure that you're on 1/32 of an inch by lifting up on this handle here and then locking yourself. Okay. At this point, then you're ready to go. Then you can plug yourself in. The green light is indicating that you got power there. Open your port. Make sure that your table has got no debris on it. Everything is good. Make sure that you have your feather board and your push sticks as you need them ready to go. So you start yourself up. I would look at the edge of your wood to see if you're staying smooth. Now, I can feel a little choppiness in that. I would take that board and I would turn it 180 degrees and try it past the other way to see if it gave me a smoother cut. And that's a much smoother cut. So that's why when you're with this tool, after you run it, you should check the edge or the face to see how smooth it is. If it's nice and smooth, then you're going with the grain. If it's a little bit choppy, then you're cutting across the grain. As I was going through, I don't know if anybody noticed, but as I got close, I took this hand off. As I was going through, I kept my hand and put it on this side to stabilize it. Went right through. You do not want to sit over the cutter head. You want to get your stock through, and you do not want to have your hands sitting over the cutter stock. So you smooth operation. You're not running, but you're not stutter stepping. You're going at a fairly decent clip to get through. Then you'll get a good smooth cut, and it's keeping your hands away from the blade. Hopefully I haven't put anybody to sleep, and hopefully you learned something.
Bye.
Have a good day.